Well, greetings, travelers, and of course to all you builders out there. It's me, Kevin C. here yet again at Action Pants Gaming with a tutorial? Wait a minute. A.P.G does tutorials? Well, I kinda do. So bear with me. If you want to learn how to build something like this, and I've been asked, how did you do that? Well, this is essentially how I did this. It's relatively simple with a bit of complication. So let's get right into it. Hopefully, you are familiar with some glitch building. If you are, you should have no problem with this. If you are new to glitch building, I highly recommend checking out Beeblebum's tutorials. They're very clear and concise and easy to follow. And he has a lot on basics of glitch building. I will try to remember to leave the link in the description below, but Beeblebum on YouTube. There is one caveat to building with this particular effect, and that is currently, as far as I can tell, this is the only part that really allows this effect and to create these patterns. And that is with the legacy metal floor panel. I know a lot of you out there do not have that. I really wish they would give it to everybody. But if you do not have the legacy metal floor panel, you can ask someone who does. They can bring it to your build site and you can copy and use it just fine. With that said, let's get on with this. We'll call it a tutorial. I'll do my best. I do show everything in real time. I do not edit. It is one of the reasons I do not do a lot of tutorials. I just find it easier for me to do it in this fashion. All right, now, what we're going to need is a circle. And I will show you how I build my circles. However you get to a circle, that's the best way, but I would recommend building it this way because it will help you with placing all of your parts later. All right, so what you're going to do here is you're going to need the legacy metal floor panel, the cube, the pyramid, and the raised small paver, or the CPR, what I call it. It's my breathing life into my builds. I use these three items quite a bit. It's how I create most of my scaffolding, by using these three parts. So I will do a tutorial eventually on how I use these and what I use them for and why I like them. But for now, what you're going to need to do is we're going to need to build a circle. So you're going to need to get a floor panel vertical, however you go about doing that. And I would bring it up at least 3 floor panels from the ground or your base. Now you're going to go about making your circle like you always do. And the way I do it is this way. Now you can go any number of sides. For this particular method, we're going to do 60. For this particular tutorial, we're going to do 16. So I basically do this method. I don't know who came up with it, but thank you for doing it. It is quick once you get the hang of it and effective for making good circles with floor panels. So as you can see here, you can follow along. And then I'm just taking each one of these, boom, and we're gonna not do the 32, we're gonna do a 16. We'll cut out the next bit here for time. All right, so you should have something now that looks like this. Once you do, I would recommend saving. That never hurts. Hey, other me. Once you've got your save done, you're now going to construct your circle on whatever diameter you want to do. All right. You could do 8. or you could do the full 16. But you need to know where you're going to be roughly, or you're going to be building the circle again. And you need to have a placement and make sure that you've locked in your placement, keep this wire, whatever the case may be. So for this, we're going to keep it simple. And we're just going to do 8. All right, now we're going to extend that out. I think we're going to do 16. Never mind, I lied. It's a smoother circle. It'll just look better. And these are the times that you kind of want to figure out what you want to, sort of do, what you're looking to achieve. Do you want, what kind of pattern you're looking to do. 32 gets time consuming. I will warn you ahead of time. 16 is time consuming enough. All right, so you should have this. All right. Now that you've got your circle built, you're going to take a paver and you're going to line your circle with that paver. Oops. And I would recommend keeping your snap point flat to your circle, okay? And turn it the same way. All right, so you should now have a circle that is lined with pavers. Once you've done that, what you're going to do is you're going to swap in this cube. So you're going to take a paver, you're going to place it on top, and you're going to replace it with a cube. You're going to do that all the way around. And I'll try editing a video. So let's see if that works. And now with the magic of video editing, if I did everything correctly, you should have something that looks like this, which is now some cubes on top of a paver, which essentially is moving your cube a half step. All right. Now, once you have this, you're going to bring a cube behind. You're going to then put one behind that. And you're going to do that all the way around. And with the magic of video editing, huzzah. And there we go. So now you should have something that looks like this. You should have some stuff here. You should have 3 cubes and a paver. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the front. So this is my front. This is what we're going to call our front. I'm going to get all these out of the way, including the paver, leaving the one furthest back. And with more magic, so you don't have to watch this process, we will get rid of all that with the magic of editing. And now you should have something that looks like this. All right. What you're going to do now is you're going to bring your top or 12 o'clock cube forward. Leave this here. Retain this. You will need it later. All of these. So once you have that there, which should be roughly in the middle of your floor panel, slightly forward. And now, all that work you just did, building your circle, guess what? Delete it all. All right. So now you're going to delete your circle. And this will do real time. Now you can leave this wire. I'm going to delete it. Then you're going to come down to your center point, which is going to be here. It's going to be 3. You already know that. So we know that's our center. We get prepped for making a new circle down there later. Okay, just keep that area in mind. All right, so now we're going to need to move this floor panel, but we're going to need to know where we need to move it to. So the best way to do that, I find, is to put your cube where this is right here. Make sure that's still there. Now you're going to take the race initiator, which is the magic part, and with your cache glitch, you're going to cache that part. You're going to grab your pyramid, and you're just going to kind of fire one down into the area here. You're going to try. No editing here, damn it. Everyone sees the fumbles. All right, now this is going to give us, you know, our idea of where things need to be. But, because I'm an idiot and we're going to try to do this with editing as well, what you need to do first is you need to get a paver and face it so it's flat against the floor like that. You're going to stack 6 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you're going to line each one of those pavers with the floor. And then I like to take this particular small timber wall because it's easy to see what you're doing with it. And you're going to fill in all of these gaps right here. All right. I'm going to do this real time. We're going to not edit some of this. It's going to be, I kind of think it's important to see some of this, you know, and realize what you got to get through. And it's okay to make mistakes. Sometimes mistakes in building lead to some really great discoveries. I'll tell you firsthand. This is one of them. All right, now you should have something that kind of looks like this. You should have a consistent line going through here. See how that's nice and consistent? With this kind of spacing. Once you have that, you can then remove your pavers, keep the block, remove your floor panels, keep all of this, save. Then what you're going to do is you're going to bring your floor panel up. You can essentially put this anywhere at this moment. It does not need to be anywhere particular at the moment. So I'm just going to stack it back on. Now, this is what you should be looking at right now. These short walls, evenly spaced, your ring of cubes, which have been pulled back, and some floor panels, okay? So, once you have that, now what you're going to do is you are going to take your race initiator right here. That's in your first menu down near the bottom. You're going to cache it. You're going to grab your pyramid. going to shoot this down. Oop, I made a mistake, and this is why it's important to do some of this stuff live, I feel. So we need to bring that cube forward, right? Because we need this to be shooting down our floor panel here. So we know that's where our original was, right? So now let's take the race initiator again. Right. Cache it, pyramid, bottom of that cube, so it should be halfway through your floor roughly, your original floor. And yep, this happens to even people who do this a lot. Do not get frustrated. It happens. Boom. Okay. So now you're going to take this floor and you're going to move it until you see something that looks like that. Let's get this floor out of our way and that one out of our way. So now you start to see where that effect comes in. Once you have this, I recommend bringing a couple floor panels over to hold that position. Okay, so now you have this. What you want to do is now bring this floor panel down 1, 2. And you want to make sure that you're still getting that effect when you bring this one down and it did not kick off here. Once you're satisfied with that, what I would do is I would save again. And now you may delete these short walls. And you should have something that looks like this. All right, we're lined up on our new floor panel, which has been moved marginally. Okay? As long as you're seeing this effect, you should be fine. Now, remove the top and this one, and now redo your circle. So we're going to do as I normally do for my circles. And we made a 16-sided circle, right? We want to remember that. You can go in 32, but it's a lot of work, just so you know. And now we're going to make sure that this works. I'll bring it down a little bit more just to kind of see. Grab our race initiator again. Grab our pyramid. Shoot that. We're still in good position. So we know we're all set. Now we can go and continue to build our circle as normal. Delete. And then I just move and cancel move, and we get our color back. Build your circle. move your blocks into this position. So add one to the ones that you have as holding blocks. Retain your holding block. We can get rid of this now if we want. Our holding one. And now you should have something that looks like this. And now it's a question of where you want things to land. So you use your cube, your pyramid, and your raised paver for half cube adjustments. And you find out where you want everything to kind of sit. Once you've decided on that, and this is where a lot of experimentation comes into play, is just kind of, trying different areas and see what happens. And then what you want to do here is you want to test with a pyramid. Okay, you want to make sure that it's flat at all times. See how you can see the full circle, it's not offside. So that's very important. Okay. And that's why keeping your cubes rotated in the way I've shown the entire time, keeping that snap point, in the same position over and over again will help you in this part here. So now it's just a question of, playing around with ideas and adding things in different ways. And then later you're going to want to kind of encase it like this one is. And I'll show you how to do this part at another time. That'll be another tutorial. But it's once you have this basic and you know how to get this effect, the rest of it is just thinking about, okay, well, I need to move that floor panel. How do I do that? Oh, with the paver, the cube, and the pyramid is how I do it. And it works out very well. So now we're going to grab our race initiator again. Boop. We're going to pop them in just to see what happens. So you can see kind of what goes on with this. And you're always going to need to reset, reload after you do this in order to allow things to sync. So they're not wobbling in different times. Come on, really? You're going to do this to me, huh? And again, be prepared for these sort of things. It is common to miss glitches if you were new to glitch building. If you're not new, you feel me. All right, so now what you would need to do, and why do I feel like I'm missing one? Because I am right here. You always want to look at your pattern, make sure everything looks symmetrical. In this case, now it does. Now we can kind of see a basic effect here. And that, my friends, is the basics of making this. And with the magic of editing, I will reload after saving first. So save, 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 always save. Just be careful with your saves. And now we will do a nice reload and we'll be right back. All right, we have reloaded, we've returned. Now everything is in sync. And this is what we have. Now, everything else after this is pure experimenting. Where you place your race initiators, where you place in and add in your other parts, and more importantly at this point now, where you create your patterns or how you create your patterns. Okay. So, and that all involves moving these around and using the triangular and small square and small triangular parts. So, to start creating patterns, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to just replace some of your floor panels, do a halfway with a floor panel, try different things. So if we, for example, remove each one of these floor panels, and we'll do in every other scenario here. And then you add in, your triangular piece. And again, unfortunately, currently at least, I haven't figured out any other floors, but I'm working on it. Hopefully I'll come up with something. And we find the right spots. Where are you? Actually, you know what? Let's just remove all the floor panels. Why not? Let's do that. That's going to be better, at least for now. And then we'll replace those all with the triangular bit. You can already see we're starting to change pattern here. And you can have the direction or the flow of the light in any way you want. That goes by how you put the piece in. And now we have that pattern. And what we would do again is we would probably go through and see, just by kind of, you see sort of what happens. You can kind of see the pattern here. What's going on as you move that piece around, you rotate it, right? And you want to stay symmetrical, so you want to keep those points facing the same way. Well, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want, but one, it'll get confusing. Two, your patterns no longer become symmetrical and you sort of lose the effect of what we're trying to do here. But that doesn't matter. This is art. This is not anything other than doing some art. And however you do it and it comes out looking neat and you're happy, that's all that matters. So I'm just trying to follow a similar pattern because my little brain doesn't want to get super confused. Mildly confused is okay. That's all day long. You just kind of try to look through and see where everything is. I know it can get a little difficult and daunting in the beginning, but don't worry, you will get used to it. And we have changed our pattern. Now we have that in the middle. So this is all changed in here. And that, my friends, is the basics of doing this. It's not horribly difficult, but it is a lot of experimentation. That's a word, right? Yeah, just experiment. Throw some pots around. You'll see what happens. Stuff will happen. And then what I like to do to add a little bit of color, because you want to sort of get some contrasting color in whenever possible. That's kind of important. So it doesn't, I mean, you don't have to. Again, I like to have, some different colorations and variants. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to look at this. I have a feeling we're going to want to go a half step. Yep, I'm going to want to go a half step. And when I mean half step, I mean by taking a paver and moving your cube a half. So I'm going to take the paver, cache it, grab my pyramid, throw it on top, add one of these. Then for this particular trial, and this is what I mean by experimenting, I don't know what this is necessarily going to do, if anything. Now it is halfway through. So I'm hoping we should just get enough of an accent. Yep, that'll work. And you would, but still not hiding or, covering this. Now we get a little bit of an accent color, right? And you can place these anywhere you want. You don't have to do it here. Like say I wanted to do it up top and have it shoot the other way down. It does, again, this is just, hey, try some stuff, see what it looks like, see if you like it, okay? If it doesn't work, yeah, you've lost a little time. But I'll throw that up there. That'll add a little bit of color up here. And I want to bring in another, I'm going to bring another race initiator in, and I want to bring it in here. Right? Where did we go with all these? So we want to kind of keep the same thing, or we don't have to. We can change this. So I'm going to start it, and I want it to fire up and be, so it ends here or somewhere in that area. So now I want to fire it this direction. We're going to take our pyramid again after we've cached our race initiator. Or actually, we don't need to necessarily. There we go. And we're going to try to bring that in. Boom. And there we go. All right. And now we have that. Then when you bring this all around, you would reset. You now have the outer part, so you now know, okay, yep, that's about where I want it. Then you would bring the rest of them down and do the same thing, right? Just lather, rinse, and repeat. A lot of that with this stuff because it's symmetrical. You want it to, you can make them asymmetrical. As a matter of fact, we'll probably do another tutorial on that just for basic walls. All right, so with the magic of editing, we will add the rest of these. And we'll be back. Okay, so now we've lined that bit with our cubes. And now what we're going to do is we're going to fire in a bunch of our race initiators. So what I like to do is, one, figure out what direction we're going in. We've already done that one, so we're going to line these with the pyramid ahead of time. Now, there is somewhat of an issue these days with parts doubling, especially if you're in multiplayer, and makes it a little difficult for some glitch building and your cache glitch, but, for the most part, it should work like this. So I like to do this and pre-line it. It does help to keep your positioning, but thankfully, as long as you're looking to where your cubes are, which, you've left behind, which is always good, always leave your scaffold till the very last minute. A tip taught to me years ago by JC Hysteria and ER Burroughs and who else? Those guys pounded it into my head, that's for sure. And American Psycho Gaming, who's I miss. I hope he's doing good. All right. Anyway, now you have this. Now we're going to just kind of run through and we're going to throw all these in here like so. And with the magic of editing, we'll continue that and we'll be right back with all those in there. And I'll even reload ahead of time so it's all synced up. Okay. Now we've reloaded And we've synced up all of our race initiators, and this is what we've got. A little bright. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to remove the center ring of blocks. We're going to always retain these outer blocks. Do not get rid of these. These are very important in doing all of your additions. And also to have around in case of an emergency and you lose something. All right, so now what I would do, just because this is a little nutty, a little overly bright, I'm going to remove these outer ones now. And we're going to add in some triangular pieces. And this is where you get and start to just experiment. You know, this is where I go, all right, try this, look at that. Say, you know, don't save until you know that you're 100% happy. You know, leave it at a good base where you know you can work with it, and then when you find a pattern that you're, really stoked with, then, you can then save. But I would highly recommend um, you know, having a save that is a good basic place for you to start. While you're trying to experiment with making patterns, knowing, you'll start to get used to knowing where to put, what edges you're working with. If that makes sense? Now, if you do not understand any of this, you have any questions after this tutorial, please feel free to reach out to me on my Discord and ask me any questions you need. I am willing to give private tutorials if necessary. Now I'm looking at this going, something's not right. That pattern looks normal. And this is why we're doing some of this as kind of a live, go. So that you realize that these sort of things are going to cause you mild strife. And you're going to rotate, a lot, and, try and get these to sit on the same, in the same way that you've gotten them all to do, which gets tricky the more you add, because now it's looking for whatever snap point it can find to just do something. Find its home. And then there's other times where everything falls into place just nicely. This is not one of those times. And it's also me trying to do a tutorial. So again, my apologies for all of this. I'm hoping you're learning something and getting the basic idea. But if not, reach out to me on Discord. Same name as right here, Action Pants Gaming. And say, hey, I got most of it, but could you maybe give me a hand and explain this part again? And if I'm streaming, please feel free to do the same and ask, hey, I know you're in the middle of something, but when you get a moment, could you please show me, this, that, or the other thing? And I will gladly stop. I will usually need a break about the time someone's asking me. And I'm more than happy to show you. That's what I'm here for. That's why I've been doing this for so long. I'm getting people to be more creative with their building. Try different things. Now, what I'm doing here is the extreme. You can take these parts and do smaller versions of this using this same technique, but instead of going, crazy like this and making, these wild patterns in a circle, you could make a wall out of this. You could make, a highlight piece and, a feature wall, blah, blah, blah. You do not have to go and do the wacky full amount. This is just to give you an idea, and because it's new to me, and I just kind of figured this out recently on how to make this when I want, as opposed to, hey, what happened? That looks cool. How do I do that again? Uh, now we can actually do it. One of my early kaleidoscopes is what spawned the inspiration for this. I made a mistake, didn't know how I did it, and then I learned a technique that allowed me to make this on a regular basis. So I was pretty stoked about that. All right, now we have that sort of pattern. Let's see if we can get some better lighting on that. Zoop. Now, you could turn those triangles in different positions and you'll get another pattern just by moving what you currently have. So these are all changeable based on what you do and the rotation of the floor panel or the triangle. You could then look through and realize, wait a minute, there's still a spot where these will go in, and you can rotate and change and add to that current pattern. And I'm going to change the color so you can see this happening. So see, as I rotate that triangle in there, it's adding additional lines, which is going to alter your pattern. We'll make it black again so we can see. And you just kind of roll with it. See what you get out of it. Yeah, let's go that way. Okay. Boop, boop. That's just easy for me to locate where the front, so that we're doing. I'm trying to make it easy for myself right now. And just keeping the points all similar so I can find them. And it's easy enough with the, you get to have that little yellow square up at the top. And this is essentially the basis. Now, I've been adding in the new part, the barrier seal, whatever they're calling it now. I don't know what it is. To create other effects, you want to try to get some contrast in here. Some red, some oranges, whatever, Want to get some warmer colors going on. Now, what I would do with these blocks is one of two things. I've got holding blocks behind here. So I know I'm safe right now because we're going to need these again to experiment with and to add different parts. They're lined up with all of our angles. But I also know that I have a saver, so I'm going to just remove these to take a look. And you can save before you do this. I would recommend it, actually. But now I want to see what our pattern has become because we've now brought the light out to the edge. We've changed from the regular square floor panel to the triangles. And that has completely altered the way this looks. And now we have something like this. And that is the basics, okay? Anything further from this is another tutorial. To add in colors and, swirly bits and other things that I've been doing with this would probably require an entirely new tutorial. But again, these are the basics. As you notice, just because I've changed and added the light in different ways, we're getting a pattern with the light. We're getting patterns that show up and disappear you know, with the light color. There's many, many things you can do with this. It's just honestly, once again, to repeat myself, it's all about experimenting. You just try things, you know, it doesn't matter if you think it's going to work or not, give it a shot. I've been surprised a number of times, thinking, you know, wow, this isn't going to work. And then I add it in, I'm like, whoa, that worked better than I thought 3 hours later. So now for me, I'm actually going to keep this because I really like the pattern. So you'll get to see this kind of grow a little bit. I may move it actually. And this is because I didn't do a full circle. And also, as you spread your race initiators out, it will change your lighting pattern, what parts of your floor panel get picked up, you know, where your dark and your light points are. Also, other patterns such as what the race initiator makes on its own. And then things like this, which still use the same basic principle as what we started, only now it's each one of these I had to do separately with all the stuff we saw in the beginning. So how many times did I have to, you know, add those short walls, the pavers, you know, and then bring it, you know, bring that floor panel back a little bit in order to catch this effect. So remember, the crazier you get, the more time you're going to be spending. So for any further tutorials on this style of building, please come and check me out at Action Pants Gaming on YouTube, soon to be Twitch maybe. We're kind of playing around with that idea. I do a lot of these sort of kaleidoscope, if you've heard of the A.P.G engine or the sci-fi kaleidoscope. Hi, uh, that's me, A.P.G. But this is kind of a lot of what I love to do is sort of art builds and these kind of, you know, moving art bits. I do building as well. I have a big old city I built. You can check out my channel, and you're welcome to visit that when I, you know, am around because I need to be there for you to see all 15,000 and something parts currently. Shooting for 16,000. But yeah, there we go. This has been an A.P.G tutorial. I know it's not like everybody else's, but then again, I'm A.P.G. I'm not like anybody else, I would imagine, and nor are you or anybody else. That's what makes art and all this fun stuff what it is. It's individual. No matter what you do, no matter how you make it, you can follow the exact same thing I did right now, and I bet you it's going to look a little different. So thank you all. This has been an A.P.G tutorial. I will try to do some more of them if requested. I'm not very good at them, as you can tell, but hopefully with some more time, we can get a little better with it. So that has been this tutorial. We don't have a name for this thing yet. It's sort of like the hollow wall kaleidoscope. We don't know. It's sort of out there, but yep, these are fun, and there's lots that can be done. So until the next tutorial, this has been me, Kevin C. here, wishing all of you out there in the No Man's Skyverse a little bit of love, peace, and starship grease. Get your action pants on, get out there, and start building some wild and wacky stuff. And again, don't forget to hit me up on Discord, leave a like and subscribe and a comment and all that fun stuff. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. Take care, y'all.